insane ride, one of Australia's longest running hard enduros, held down in Tasmania. The Gold Class riders make the prologue course look easy, although the course designers do know how to space obstacles at very awkward distances, so that even the best riders can struggle at times. Generally, these guys make it look easy, which is why we will be concentrating on the everyday riders. The gumbies, the muppets, the squids, the everyday heroes. These are the guys who are experts at making it look really hard. And all I can say is good on them for having a go. So here we have Ben, our local dirt muppet, along with Archie, his 14-year-old son. On the sighting lap, Ben and Archie get familiar with some of the obstacles. This undercut log is going to be a tricky one. Too fast, you go over the bars. Too slow, you just fall back down. Archie is a victim of the cruel track design. You can see the awkward spacing of the rocks and logs preventing a run-up. Ben nails the log punch technique nicely, but it's a huge log and hard to get on top of. Perfect speed on the second run.
That's it.
Archie goes for a different line. What about the rest of the track for the next 2 days? Some tricky off-camber slopes. Very good to see most of the riders going for traction here. Plenty of clutch slipping and careful throttle control to avoid wheel spin and then sliding down the hill. Throw a few rocks in, it gets pretty difficult. Wheel spin and wham bam thank you ma'am do not work well in these technical sections. You can see Ben does it slowly and methodically.
That's it.
No wheel spin, thinks it through. Along with some handy tips from Coxy.
Keep left. Keep as far left as you can, up against that rock.
Listen to those low revs and clutch slip. Sweet stuff.
Easy.
Good run by Archie here too. Way less trouble than most of the adults.
Yes, bloody ripper. How's it going?
Not too bad. How you going?
Good, my arms are bloody cramping up, something fucking shocking, but aside from that, awesome, really good. Fuck.
Most of us who live in Australia have a hard time getting to Tasmania.
We have passed. They're going to let us into Tasmania land, to infinity and beyond.
Like most, Coxy had to do the overnight ferry. Tasmania is a weird but beautiful country. Legend has it that most of the residents have two heads. In reality, the majority of the population is quite normal, at least by Australian standards.
Beautiful morning, Partina. No frost on the ground.
Anyway, back to the Enduro.
That's the Muppet class special, that one.
Let's check out the rest of the prologue track as the guys do their sighting lap. We are on board with Coxy, and you can see already he is a victim too of the vicious course designers. Coxy is like the rest of us. He's been really trying to adapt this trials technique to his riding, but when you get stuck like this, it's just throttle and wheel spin. When the right techniques just don't seem to work, and of course eventually you have to lift the bike out. And he's not alone. This stuff is even harder than it looks. Coxy eventually realises the front axle is hooked up and he just has to muscle the bike out of there. This sort of thing can be incredibly draining, and it's why you find a lot of the riders really take their time picking lines, getting their technique right, because when you get stuck like this, it can just drain your energy. You can see Coxy here taking his time. He wants to get over this in one go and conserve energy. The very experienced riders are doing a quick pivot turn here. Coxy takes the less risky way around. The only problem is he still needs to do a pivot turn. Then he realises there's quite a trench that's developed from guys wheel spinning needlessly. Those bloody course designers. See how they've put this next log to actually make it hard to get over. Bastards. I'm telling you, these course designers are sadists who will be the first ones against the wall when the revolution against enduro cross track designers occurs. But Coxy does it nicely, doesn't panic, doesn't resort to wheel spin, just gets over with minimum fuss and conserves his energy. Whoop, Archie has dropped the bike on the tyres, and it looks as though Ben is hung up in the same spot as Coxy was. If you remember back at the beginning, we briefly showed the gold class riders going over this rubble and rock garden section, and it's incredible to think they can do it so quickly. Coxy is a pretty talented rider, and yet this stuff is all spaced so awkwardly, he's just very gently easing his way through. It's hard to imagine riding this in second gear at speed. You can see how easily it would be to punch a hole in your crankcases here when you drop the bike. This is certainly one case where some crankcase savers are not bling, but almost mandatory. Or at the very least, have the necessary repair tools to get yourself going again if you do crack a crankcase.
How's it going, fellas?
I'm surprised Coxy even has enough breath to say anything. Usually at this sort of point I would be wheezing and gasping and probably getting lightheaded from lack of oxygen. I reckon he must have been working on his fitness quite a bit. The dreaded log pit. These are also much harder than they look. I've actually done a training vid about these. I've certainly had trouble with them before at enduro cross events, but there are some handy tips to get through with minimal fuss. Just see our training vid. Let's hit the turbo thrust. There are some easy sections here and we have seen a lot of this in the video about Coxy's prologue run.
Sake. That is a precarious position. Nice. That's exactly what I did. You okay? That's exactly what I fucking did.
I won't say much from this point as Coxy leaves the prologue track and heads out into the bush. So grab the popcorn and enjoy.
So I've got a nice mossy off camber and downhill log here. It's green. Whew. So we're now scooting along the edge of a stream, which is interesting because there's a lot of roots and stuff going downhill. Fuck yeah. I'll come back a bit, I'll see if I can hit it. Oh, this set on me nuts.
These creek sections go forever and make me wish I had done the 3-day drive to attend this enduro. The water reduces traction, of course, which makes you work even harder to get traction. It's great fun. Coxy finally teams up again with Ben and Archie.
Hang on, Archie, hang on. Alright, what do you want to do? Do you want to go back and have another hit, or you want to try and ride it up?
It can make a huge difference joining up like this to manhandle the bikes through tough bits. And there's a fair bit of that coming up. In fact, you'll see Ben has strategically stayed at the back, which means he doesn't have to help his son Archie at all.
He's got that little lip there and that's it. Hang on.
Coxy has to do all the work.
I'm parked in the road, sorry. Don't go back too far.
Coming up, a nasty little dip into the creek. A steep bank down, but then you have to climb a vertical bit on the other side. Very hard to get the timing right.
Fuck, this is fucking awkward. That's it.
What looks like a straightforward log across the creek is going to be way harder than it looks. Let's see how the guys go.
That's it. Alright, beautiful.
I can't believe Coxy doesn't check the water depth first, but luckily there's no deep hole underwater. This is going to be another difficult one to get the bikes over.
That's it. My arms aren't that long. So the base is rock. It's got a fair bit of grip. I just came up to it, so I just got the front mono up into it. That's it.
Bounce it over that way, dude.
Oh, nice one, Ben.
Neutral, you motherfucker. All good, man. Yeah, all good. The bike went into neutral and rolled back on me. Thank you. Yeah, all good. Thanks, fellas. Thank you. So, that's the Tasmania Heat Hard Enduro Run and Run. Go and get some vitamins and minerals into my body, my aching body. My arms have been cramping up something fierce, so...
Well guys, no wonder you were feeling smashed after 2 days of this terrain. Well done.